Guilt by association. How friends lower your score. Social credit. Welcome back. I'm Adeline Atlas, 11 times published author, and this is the Social Credit and Surveillance series. In the previous episodes, we've explored how the social credit score system operates, how your individual behavior and personal data can determine your value in a society that uses compliance to measure citizenship. We've learned that this system doesn't just track your actions, it tracks who you are, your habits, your preferences, your financial behavior, and even your personal relationships. But today, we're going to explore a far more disturbing aspect of this surveillance system: guilt by association. We've all been taught that we are judged by the company we keep. But in a social credit system, this idea is taken to a disturbing extreme. Your friends, family, and social circles, people who you choose to associate with, can affect your score and, by extension, your access to society's resources and opportunities. Your reputation is no longer just about your own actions. It's about the people you associate with, and more troublingly, the actions they take. Let's dive into how guilt by association works in social credit systems and explore how your social connections, both digital and physical, could determine whether you flourish or suffer under these new systems of control. How social credit scores extend to your social circle. Imagine living in a world where your score isn't just about you. In China's social credit system, your personal score is directly influenced by the behavior of those around you. In other words, your friends, family, and even colleagues can raise or lower your score based on their actions, whether they are loyal to the state, follow rules, or engage in behaviors that are considered acceptable or unacceptable by the system. This is more than just peer pressure. It's social surveillance. If one of your friends is caught engaging in unsanctioned behavior, whether it's posting on social media about a political issue, engaging in an unauthorized protest, or even associating with someone deemed a troublemaker, you too could be penalized. In the digital world of social credit, your social circle isn't just part of your personal life. It's also part of your digital identity. Your connections are constantly tracked, and those connections are evaluated in real time. You could be penalized for interacting with someone who has a low social credit score, whether that interaction is in person or online. Your friend's behavior is monitored and could directly influence your score, limiting your access to opportunities, resources, and services. In effect, you are not just responsible for your own actions, you are also responsible for the actions of others. This concept is a powerful tool for control. When social credit systems expand, it's not enough to be a model citizen. You also have to watch your circle. The system encourages self-policing and social enforcement, where people are not only pressured to follow the rules, but also to keep an eye on those around them and report any violations. This creates a culture of surveillance that goes beyond government and corporate monitoring. It includes friends and family. The impact of social networks on personal freedom. In this type of system, freedom is redefined. The concept of personal liberty, the freedom to associate with whoever you choose, becomes severely restricted. Your personal relationships are no longer private. They are extensions of the system's control. This creates a world where your actions and interactions are constantly evaluated not just by the authorities, but by the very people you trust the most, your friends, family, and coworkers. This level of control over your personal life forces you to question, how much freedom do we have left when our social circles are actively controlling our behavior? The pressure to adhere to social norms increases as your behavior, relationships, and even personal opinions become part of the surveillance. If you associate with someone who has been penalized, whether they were criminalized for noncompliance or engaged in activities deemed problematic by the system, you could find yourself facing punishments or restrictions as well. In the social credit system, there are no isolated individuals. Every relationship has a digital footprint and is part of a broader data network that dictates who you are and what you have access to. This isn't just an extension of the surveillance state. It's a new form of social governance where obedience isn't just about personal behavior. It's about social compliance and conformity to the state's expectations. The case of friends and family influencing your score. Now, let's break this down with a real-world example. In China's social credit system, family members can influence each other's scores. If a family member engages in criminal activity, political dissent, or simply fails to comply with state regulations, the entire family's score could be affected. This family score becomes a measure of collective behavior and social loyalty, with everyone in the family being held accountable for the actions of one person. Imagine being punished for the actions of a family member or close friend. If you choose to spend time with someone who is blacklisted for any number of reasons, whether it's noncompliance with social norms or simply being involved in controversial activities, your own social credit score could suffer as a result. The more tight-knit the social structure, the more pervasive the control. The idea of privacy and personal space evaporates when every personal relationship is intertwined with your score and status within society. This system creates a situation where the personal and political are no longer separate. Public opinion becomes everybody's business, and self-policing becomes not just an expectation, it becomes social duty. In this reality, individuals are encouraged not only to follow the rules, but to enforce them in their personal relationships. The mechanisms of social enforcement. This brings us to the concept of social enforcement. In a society where behavioral control is the goal, self-policing and social monitoring become crucial elements of the system. If one person in your social circle breaks the rules, the entire group could be punished, whether that's restricted access to services, financial limitations, or even social isolation. Imagine walking into a grocery store and realizing that you can't make a purchase because your score has dropped due to the actions of a friend. Imagine having travel plans disrupted because your travel companion has been flagged by the system. It's not about your individual behavior anymore. It's about your network, the people you know, and how their behavior influences yours. This dynamic of social enforcement doesn't just impact direct relationships like friends or family, it extends to the public sphere. We see this happening today with social media algorithms that sort people into ideological groups. But in a social credit system, these sorting mechanisms are real-world consequences. If you're seen associating with someone deemed a threat to societal norms, your behavior could be questioned and your score can drop as a result. Reputation as a currency. The economic impact of social credit. The impact of a social credit score goes far beyond personal relationships. As your score is linked to your access to resources, your economic opportunities become restricted based on the social circles you keep. If your score drops because of your associations, it could limit your access to loans, housing, travel, and even employment opportunities. Economic opportunities are directly tied to your social behavior, which means your relationships and friendships aren't just about mutual support. They become strategic decisions. If your friends or family are seen as a risk, it could become difficult to access basic needs, let alone opportunities for advancement. Breaking free. Is it possible to escape social credit? This brings us to the question of escape. In a world where your score is determined by your relationships, your behavior, and the company you keep, is it even possible to escape the system? If you choose to isolate yourself from others, to live off the grid, does that mean you're free from the system's control? The answer is more complicated than a simple yes or no. In a system where everything is connected, the idea of true freedom becomes blurred. The digital system constantly watches scores and adjusts your social value based on your connections. The more you try to break free, the more you find that escape becomes difficult. If the system doesn't track you directly, it will track your social network, and by extension, your behavior. In a world of social credit, your freedom to associate is no longer a personal choice. It's determined by the system. And when social behavior is regulated, even who you associate with becomes a matter of compliance with the system's rules. Hi, I am Adeline Atlas, 11 times published author, and SOS, School of Soul has a brand new series, the AI and Future Technology series. Look, you know the world is changing. And no, it's not going back to normal. Normal is over, and what's coming next is beyond anything we were prepared for. The School of Soul, AI and Future Technology series includes 319 videos on 1. The Download Society, How Data Has Replaced Destiny. 2. Predictive Future. Your next moves aren't random, they're forecasted. 3. Social Credit Systems. The behavioral economy now governs access. 4. Hive Mind. Synthetic telepathy and collective algorithmic control. 5. Nanobots inside you. Medical, military, and programmable intrusions. 6. Grief Tech. AI-fueled digital resurrection and simulated comfort. 7. Uploading your mind, consciousness transfer, and data-based identity. 8. Deep fakes plus AI clones, the replication of reality and identity theft. 9. Quantum humans, the merger of biology with quantum systems. 10. Digital afterlife, where your data goes when you die. 11. Resurrection science, reviving life through synthetic methods. 12. Immortal science, the end of death as we know it. 13. Longevity science, gene editing, anti-aging, and bio-upgrades. 14. Designer babies, engineered perfection before birth. 15. Artificial wombs, birth decoupled from the female body. 16. 3D printing, printing organs, limbs, and even humans. 17. The humanoid era, the rise of synthetic beings among us. 18. Legacy humans, the slow phase-out of unmodified analog people. 19. Smart cities, algorithmic environments that watch and decide. 20. Cloud-based societies, citizenship without borders or bodies. 21. Hackable humans, emotion, memory, and behavior under code. 22. Biometric scanning, your body is your password and your prison. 23. Sex tech, intimacy reprogrammed by machines. 24. Extinction of gender, fluidity, deletion, and design of identity. Every topic is fully explored with real-world technologies, patents, case studies, ethical analysis, and future forecasts. These aren't someday discussions. This is already happening. Join the SOS School of Soul Vault to understand the future before it's implemented on you.